When was the last time you sat in complete silence? And I do not mean the silence between songs, or the pause before a notification appears. I mean true, absolute, unbroken silence, where the only sound left in the entire world was you. Most people have to think about that for a long time. And that pause, that hesitation, is the answer. Naval Ravikant, one of the most respected minds in Silicon Valley, once put it simply: a quiet mind is more important than a positive mind. But we have built an entire world designed to make sure that your mind is never ever quiet. We wake up to alarms. We scroll through feeds while eating. We listen to podcasts while walking. Every app, every autoplay video, every notification exists to fill the one space that does not need filling, the space between you and your own thoughts. And at night we fall asleep to the glow of a screen, because lying alone in silence feels unbearable. The World Health Organization now classifies noise pollution as the second largest environmental threat to human health, right behind air quality. And this is not theoretical. It is linked to heart disease, sleep disorders, cognitive decline, and chronic stress. The noise is not just annoying, it is slowly breaking you. Your body was never designed for this. Your nervous system evolved over millions of years in a world of birdsong and wind and long beautiful stretches of nothing. Your ancestors sat around fires in silence, staring at stars. Your biology still craves that world. But what it gets instead is traffic, push notifications, and the endless hum of a civilization that never sleeps. And the numbers confirm it. 1 in 3 adults in the United States is now exposed to daily noise levels above 70 decibels. That is the volume of a vacuum cleaner running beside your head, all day, every day. Your ears never get a break, and neither does your brain. But here is the part nobody talks about. It is not just your ears that are suffering. It is not just your blood pressure or your sleep. Something deeper inside you, something quiet and ancient and wise, has been trying to speak to you for years. It carries your deepest truths, and it can never ever be heard over the noise. Humans once lived in a world built on silence. For thousands of years, the loudest sound most people ever heard was thunder. Then came the Industrial Revolution, and the world began to roar. Then highways, then jet engines, then cities that never sleep. And now a glowing screen in every pocket, streaming noise directly into your brain, every waking moment of every single day. But in 2013, a team of neuroscientists decided to ask a question that no one had thought to ask before. They were not interested in what sounds do to the brain. That had been studied for decades. What they wanted to know was far more radical. What happens to the brain when you remove all sound completely? When there is nothing left to hear? What they found stunned the scientific community. After just 2 hours of daily silence, the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory, learning, and emotional processing, began growing brand new cells, not preserving existing ones, growing new ones. Silence did not just calm the brain, it literally regenerated it. Think about that for a moment. Right now, inside your skull, your brain is waiting to heal itself. It has the ability to grow, to regenerate, to become more than it is today. And the only thing standing in its way is noise. 300 years before that study was published, the French philosopher Blaise Pascal sat down and wrote something that still cuts to the bone. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. He could not have known about neurogenesis. He could not have measured cortisol levels. But somehow, sitting by candlelight in 17th century France, he already understood something the rest of us are just beginning to grasp. That silence is not empty, it is the fullest thing there is. And the science keeps proving him right. A separate landmark study found that just 2 minutes of silence reduced heart rate and blood pressure more effectively than listening to so-called relaxing music. Not meditation, not breathing exercises, just silence. 2 minutes was all it took for the body to begin releasing what it had been holding. And this is where it gets truly interesting. Because long before any scientist in a lab coat measured brain waves or mapped neural pathways, the ancient traditions of this world already knew. They did not have the language of neuroscience. They did not have peer-reviewed journals. But they understood something that the modern world has forgotten. They called it awakening. They called it enlightenment. They called it coming home. On every continent, across every culture, silence was sacred. Buddhist monks in Myanmar sitting for weeks without a word. Desert fathers in Egypt retreating into caves of stillness. Sufi mystics in Persia, yogis in the Himalayas meditating in snow. Trappist monks in France. From Kyoto to Tibet, the wisest people in history all arrived at the same profound conclusion. They did not have brain scans. They did not have double-blind clinical trials or peer-reviewed journals. But they had something most of us have quietly lost. They had the courage to be still, the discipline to endure discomfort, and the patience to sit in emptiness long enough to discover it was not empty at all. Modern Vipassana retreats, 10 days of complete and total silence, have now been studied under clinical conditions. The results are remarkable. Participants showed a 35% reduction in anxiety and a 40% increase in self-compassion. And brain imaging revealed measurable structural changes in the regions responsible for awareness, empathy, and emotional regulation. 10 days, no phone, no conversation, no music, no sound of any kind. Just you and the inside of your own mind, and the people who walk out the other side. People who came in anxious, restless, unable to sit still, almost always say the same thing. I did not find silence. Silence found me. It was there all along, waiting underneath everything. And neuroscience research published in the journal Neuroimage confirmed something even more extraordinary. Experienced meditators show permanently reduced activity in the brain's default mode network, the part of the brain responsible for that constant stream of mental chatter. The voice in your head that never stops talking finally goes quiet. Not temporarily, permanently. Now pay close attention to this next part, because this is not about monks. This is not about 10-day retreats or ancient monasteries. This is about you, sitting right where you are, living the life you are living, and what you can do about it, starting tomorrow morning. You do not need to move to a monastery. You do not need 10 days of silence or a meditation cushion. You need 120 seconds, 2 minutes of intentional silence once a day. No music, no podcast, no scrolling. Just you, sitting with the sound of your own existence. Start tomorrow morning, before you reach for the phone. Before the alarm leads to the news, leads to the emails, leads to the noise that swallows the entire day. Just sit on the edge of your bed and close your eyes. Breathe. And for 2 minutes, listen to the nothing. That is where it begins. That is where you begin. As the words often attributed to the poet Rumi remind us, the quieter you become, the more you are able to hear. Whether or not he wrote those exact words, they contain a truth that science is only now beginning to prove. Right now, wherever you are, there is a silence waiting for you. It has always been there. Underneath the noise, underneath the worry, underneath the endless stream of thoughts that are not even yours. You were not built for this much noise. You were built for stillness. Close your eyes after this video ends, and in that silence, you might hear something you have not heard in a very long time. Yourself.